This video is going to look at how public transport interfaces with two major hospitals. Behind me is the Royal Adelaide Hospital in South Australia, but first we're going to look at the Royal Brisbane and Women's Hospital in Brisbane, which now has got the Northern Busway bringing multiple buses into a purpose-built, grade-separated, elevated bus station, whereas in Adelaide the public transport does not interface with the Royal Adelaide Hospital. The trains exit their passengers half an hour's walk away from the hospital. The nearest bus stop is about 200 metres from the front door. A better solution in Adelaide, we'll suggest, is if the fantastic O-Bahn busway, which goes from Monterey via train on the rail tracks beside the Royal Adelaide Hospital, where the O-Bahn busway runs so many passengers that it actually runs at a profit, could be extended into the CBD of Adelaide and come to the Royal Adelaide Hospital using a similar busway as we'll see in the Royal Brisbane and Women's Hospital. So first of all, let's look at the Royal Brisbane and Women's Hospital in Queensland.
The city of Brisbane in Queensland, Australia, the city has a population of 1.1 million people and is administered by a single local government authority. In 1996, the city of Brisbane started to construct busways, and they now have 4 busways which run through the suburbs of Brisbane. The view you just seen would have been taken from a point just here at the cultural centre, looking across Victoria Bridge towards the portal for the Queen Street bus underpass, which runs underneath Queen Street and goes to the bus station in the basement of the Myer Centre in Queen Street. And the buses with the black squares around terminate at the Queen Street station, and these other buses continue around to another bus station underneath King George Square in front of the town hall and go on to the northern suburbs on another busway. This is a schematic diagram of the Queen Street bus station. This is the tunnel underneath Queen Street. The buses going to King George Square station would just go past and turn left at that point, while other buses come around and stop at the various places. This is underneath the Myer Centre, and these bus stops are behind glass doors so that the air is air conditioned. This is the King George Square station in front of the Brisbane City Council Town Hall. We can see there are two entrances into the station, one at the Ann Street end and the other way at the Adelaide Street end, and there's just two platforms with the Northern Busway running through the middle of it. We can now see the entrance to the busway underneath the Queen Street Mall. So we've got the buses coming out of the tunnel, and the Brisbane CBD has got two bus stations. There's one here underneath the Myer building in its basement, the Queen Street Mall bus station, and there's another bus station here. This is the Town Hall, and this is the King George Square bus station. What happens is the 96 bus doesn't stop at this bus station, it actually continues along and goes left, and then the bus station for the 96 bus is in front of the Town Hall. What we'll do is we'll come down to King George Square. So this is the Town Hall, and at this point we are standing above 6 levels of car park, and two of those levels were converted into a bus station. The entrance to the bus stations is a bit further over the square. And this structure is the actual entrance into the bus station, one of the entrances. And so you can see the pedestrians can go down into the bus station from the street. So let's ride from King George Square station, an underground station in the CBD, to the RBWH station. So this is King George Square bus station in the CBD of Brisbane, and this is a grade separated busway, but the buses are not a guided busway. We're now coming to Roma Street bus station, and 8 buses stop at Roma Street bus station. On our right is the the Brisbane showgrounds. I saw an exit to it just then. And we're now coming to Royal Brisbane and Women's Hospital station. This is the terminus for bus route 66. There's a loop at the end of this short section of busway where the bus can do a turn. This is the online information about bus 66, and we can see in rush periods the bus goes every 5 minutes. RBWH is an acronym for the Royal Brisbane and Women's Hospital in Brisbane, Australia, which was opened in 2009. This bus station has 2 platforms which can be accessed via an elevated concourse, which is down here beneath the busway, with stairs and elevators which give access up to the 2 platforms and also down to the street level. 14 bus routes are serviced by this bus station. If we now go to Google Earth, this is Google Earth view of the bus station. This is the main road, and if we turn to our left, we can see the nature of this elevated busway which runs alongside the main road into Brisbane. If we go up, this is showing the bus station, and the busway is coming around here, and there's a T-junction on the busway with a branch going over the main road into Brisbane. It's interesting that the main road actually goes underneath the showgrounds here, so there's a road tunnel underneath the Brisbane showgrounds. This is the Heston station, which was the original end of the northern busway. And we can see at this point the busway is in a ditch or cutting with a grid over it to stop golf balls and other items coming off the park. This is the schematic diagram of the northern busway. This is the RBWH bus station with all these buses stopping there. And at this point the buses are on a grade separated busway. There's a point where most of the buses are leaving the busway and going onto the ordinary road at Bowen Bridge, whilst 4 other routes come round to Heston station and then come round via this grade separated busway. This is an aerial view of that same section, showing the T-junction here where the buses are leaving the elevated grade separated busway, crossing over the road and also crossing over the railway lines, which is just beneath that, and the railway lines just on that bridge there. And at this point the buses are descending down onto the road and are ordinary street buses. So this shows the advantage of busways, where you can have high frequency, no interruption of traffic by the buses, and at suitable times they can leave the busway and just become ordinary street buses. This is the Brisbane CBD in the background. If we now leave Brisbane and come to Adelaide, Australia, this is the Royal Adelaide Hospital. This is the site for the relocation of the Women's and Children's Hospital, Port Road, and the tram line. Adelaide Terminal Station, this is the point where people exit from the railway station. They don't allow people to exit from the western end of the railway station. Morford Street, Light Square, Curry Street. Curry Street now and Grenfell Street are the major bus station of Adelaide, in that many of the buses are routed along those two thoroughfares with bus lanes, almost to the extent where motor cars potentially are locked out of use of the street because of the congestion that occurs. One possibility is that Morford Street will have a underground railway line running underneath it and coming out. But the key thing is the Royal Adelaide Hospital is not actually serviced very well by public transport, because if you're using the train you have to walk all the way along North Terrace to get to the Royal Adelaide Hospital, or change and catch a tram and exit it here and then walk some hundreds of metres across a busy thoroughfare at grade. There's no pedestrian underpasses or pedestrian overpasses or vehicle underpasses and so on. Buses coming from the western suburbs, you either stop at this point here and walk, or exit up here on West Terrace and walk. If you are from the southern suburbs, the buses turn and go into Curry Street, and so you'd have to exit at this point and walk. If you were to exit the train here, which the trains don't stop very often at Mole End during business times, probably the walk from there to Women's and Children's Hospital is less than the walk from the current the Adelaide railway station to the Children's Hospital. One possibility is that this street, called George Street, has been extended around the back of the RAH and the new site, and a busway similar to the one in Brisbane at the Royal Brisbane and Women's Hospital could be built. If we descend down into George Street behind the RAH, we can see that the George Street is actually used for public parking. The Royal Adelaide Hospital is a major car park, and there's logically no reason why we couldn't have an elevated road busway, either guided busway or unguided busway, in this space on the northern side of the Royal Adelaide Hospital, and might even extend over the railway tracks. And you could have the buses going underneath Port Road and coming around, and then continuing on and coming down from Port Road onto this busway at the Royal Adelaide Hospital, Adelaide.
You can see that this tram is terminating at the Royal Adelaide Hospital. This is the north side of the Royal Adelaide Hospital, and you see that we're now coming up to the Royal Adelaide Hospital now. It's Samri on our left, and now this is Royal Adelaide Hospital. This is a public car park. There's a staff car park and also entrance for ambulances. On the left is now the emergency section. Roundabout. And we're going to turn right. We're now on Port Road. At this point, the Port Road has got a rail overpass over about 6 or 7 tracks of standard gauge and broad gauge. As we've seen in Brisbane, 3.5 million passengers a year use Route 66, just one of the many buses which go to the Royal Brisbane and Women's Hospital station. It suggested that the number of people who would use public transport in Adelaide to reach the hospital would also be very high if the public transport was to interface with a similar busway and station on the northern side of the current RAH.